Hello everyone, welcome to this tutorial concerning the work instruction module in Azumuta. This module is a tool that helps employees easily find and follow step-by-step instructions for their job tasks, with the added benefit of clear visuals like images and videos, making the work more efficient, consistent, and visually understandable. It also ensures that everyone is following the same guidelines and staying safe. Here we are in the Azumuta home screen, and to navigate to the work instruction module, we go to the sidebar, click here, and click on freely consultable procedures. In this view you have two options. Via the IO Plus you can either create a work instruction immediately, or, which is more preferable, create folders in which you can categorize your work instructions. Let's say, for example, that we want to create instructions in order to make one of our products a washing machine. So first we can create a folder, for example, products. Within this folder, we can create again a folder, for example, for washing machine. Here we will create our instructions concerning our washing machine. And within this folder, we can create our first instruction. For example, let's say that the first instruction for creating a washing machine is assembly. So we create an instruction. It's important to know here that we can also set a thumbnail, which is the image that will be shown to the operator next to the instruction in the operator interface. This is not mandatory, but let's say that for this instruction we want to include a thumbnail. So we choose a file. Here, click on the image you want to show, open, and now we added a thumbnail. This will be shown to the operator next to the instruction in the operator interface. We can also include tags to categorize this instruction. For example, we want to give the tag washing. This will be an extra tag. You can also include attachments to this instruction to include manuals or anything else as you wish. So then we click on add, and now we have created our first instruction. Before populating this instruction with steps, I will show you the overview. So now it is shown like this, but this can be structured completely as you wish. Like you're on your personal computer, you can have different folders. Within the folders you can have instructions or other folders. You can completely structure your module to your company needs. For example, if you want to add a different folder to have your audit instructions, you can just create a folder, audits, click on add, and then you have another folder, audits, which you can again populate with other folders or other instructions completely as you wish. Let's now start with populating the first work instruction that we created, assembly, with instruction steps. So we click here on the instruction. First thing we can do is we can add the first instruction step here, add instruction step. For example, of course, this is only a description. You can completely configure your instruction step as you wish by first clicking on the instruction step. So double click. So we double clicked on the instruction step, and this opens the work instruction editor. And this editor, it consists of several tabs, which you can see here. And this is how you can configure the step completely as you wish. So, for example, you can add visuals and other information related to a particular step. It's very important to know that it is not necessary to use all the editor tabs here on the instruction step. You can only choose the ones that you deem necessary to guide the operator better. But let's first show you how each step works, and then you can decide on how to configure your steps for yourself. So first of all, you can see here the description of the step. And this is the text that will be most prominent in the instruction step. Further information concerning how and why the instruction step needs to be executed can be described here. And if during the execution of the step, special attention needs to be paid to a certain aspect, this can be entered in the attention point. It is important to know that to always be able to see how the operator will see the step, you can always go to preview and check how the step will be shown here to the operator. So now we only have a description for the step, so it will be shown like this to the operator. If you now populate the general tab here, so now we have added a key point, a reason, and an attention point. Let me show you how this will be shown to the operator. This will be shown like this. Of course, it is important to know that it's not necessary to fill in all text boxes. You only need to fill in what is beneficial for the instruction step to make the step as simple as possible. For example, here, if you delete these ones, you will see the step is much more simple and more readable for the operator. If you now go back to the instruction step here, then you can also see you have different text boxes here for different languages. And this is because many factories work in multi-language environments. Operators speak a different language. Now we have configured English and Dutch, but this can be as many languages as you like. And this is really to be able to show the step in the language of the operator. The next step is not part of this module. It is more for the quality management module, but let me quickly explain. So in the time study, you can give a theoretical duration of the step. And in the end, after finishing a product, this theoretical timing can be compared to the real timings. And this way, bottlenecks can be spotted. Let's jump to the next step. So in Azumuta, you have three types of resources. You have equipments, symbols, and parts. First step will show you all the equipments and symbols. In the first step, you can configure which equipment and symbols the operator needs to see. And also in the tab after that, you can show them which parts you want them to see. So first, let's go over to the equipment and symbols. It may be beneficial for the operator to sometimes see certain symbols or equipments that are needed during the instruction step. Of course, at first you will not have any equipment or symbols in the Azumuta platform. So let's first go to the management of the equipment and management of the symbols. So you simply click here to add equipment or symbols. Add manage equipment, and now you're in the equipment tab within the resources. So you can also jump immediately to this screen through the sidebar and then click on symbols, equipments, or parts. Those are the resources. First, let's go to equipment. So we're here, and of course the list is now empty, but we can quickly add certain equipment to be used during this tutorial. So you can add from catalog because we have configured certain equipment that are frequently used in production. So for example, let's say you can choose here, you can choose the scanner, you submit, and now we have our first equipment in the Azumuta platform. You can obviously just configure this completely as you'd like by clicking here on edit equipment. Then you have a category or other properties, but those are part of a different video. This will be explained later. But you can here change the description, change the image. You can indicate whether it's safety or it's quality. You can add certain tags. You even can add attachments, for example, a manual or other things, for example, certifications or anything else. Okay, so if you save this, now we have submitted our first equipment. You can also add an equipment completely from scratch by clicking on the yellow plus here. Again, the category or other properties are part of a different video. So we jump to the image. You can choose an image. For example, here we can add a screwdriver, for example. Screwdriver. Let's say we want a tag here, small tools, and we can add attachments if we want. Let's say we want to have this as both safety and quality. We add. Now we've added our second equipment. Then, so we will do the same for symbols. So we go to the tab here, symbols. And here we have also a catalog, which you can see here. It's the same system. So for example, we want to have this one. So now this is imported. So now we have our first symbol. You can also add a symbol from scratch here. For example, stating here. This is for safety. You can add another tag and also attachments. It's always the same setup to add equipment, symbols, or parts. So now we can add. And now we go back to our step. And now when we're in the tab equipment and symbols, you can add an equipment here. Then you will see the list of equipments that are configured. You can also add equipment easily here. But let's say we want the screwdriver. So now we have the screwdriver. You can see here, because we indicated safety and quality, these have these symbols here. If we add only an equipment, we can now see in the preview what it looks like. Now it just looks like this. It's also important to know, so if you go back to the step, here we have added one equipment. You can also add a symbol, for example, the safety goggles. Okay, this is now also added, and now how this will be shown in the preview is here. You can also add more by clicking here again, submit. So it will be shown like this. After we configured the equipment and the symbols, let's now jump to the parts. In this tab, you can select the required bill of material for this particular instruction step. Of course, because we do not have any parts in the platform yet, this will be empty, so you cannot add parts. But again, same logic as for the equipment and symbols, you can click on Manage Parts, or you can directly go to the sidebar here to Parts and add parts. You can either import parts from a file, so for example from an Excel sheet, map the columns and then upload the parts, or you can just add the parts one by one here with, for example, clicking on one of the parts, for example a bolt. You can have a part number. You can add tags, you can add attachments, you can add much more information here. And again, we can have a category or other properties, but this will be part of a different video. So if you add this here, so now we have added one part. If you now go back to the step, you can now add this one. You can even adjust the quantity by clicking here. For example, for this step, you need 5 of these bolts. How this will be shown in the operator view is here. I see it here. So now, because we do not have any other visualization, this will be shown in the middle. But let's now go to one of the most important tabs, is the visuals. This is what the operator prominently sees when going through an instruction step and can provide more information and more context to the instruction step. To add a visual, you can add here, add a page, for example, an image, a video, a PDF, even a 3D file, or an Office file, like an Excel sheet or a Word sheet. So here you have a blank sheet, and we can start with adding an image. Either you can add an image by just pasting an image from your clipboard. For example, you take a picture from the internet, Ctrl+C, click here, Ctrl+V, and then your first image will be added. There's also a second option to upload images, and that's by going to your library. And your library consists of all images that were once added to the step, or the ones that you uploaded to this library. So for example, now we have already one image, but let's say we want a different image. It stays in the library, but you want to upload a different image here in the library. Do it like this. Then the motor is added to the library, and you can even add labels to categorize your images, because this way you can really filter on labels. But let's now say that we take this one, insert the image, and now your image is shown like this. You can enlarge it like this or make it smaller, what you want. This is your sheet, so this will be shown to the operator. And you can give different annotations, for example, certain arrows, you can have rectangles, either way, completely configurable as you wish. You have different colors, you can add text boxes, you can add a barcode, you can add numbers, symbols, certain lines, a circle, and so on. So this is completely configurable as you wish. So let's now show you how it will be shown to the operator. This will be now shown like this. The step is now quite crowded because we have parts, we have symbols, we have equipment, and imagine if we would not have the parts. Let's say if we delete the part section here, then it will be much better visible. So this is your first visual. You can add also on one step, add multiple images. For example, let's say we want another image with this one, say like this. Then how it will be shown to the operator is like this. Now you have two images. You can also choose for a primary image. For example, let's say we have two visuals and we want to have a primary page here. We want this to be prominently shown. Then if we go back to preview, then this will be prominently shown, and this will be less big, but if you click on it, it enlarges. How the step will be shown will be completely dependent on how you configure the step. You can also make this bigger by clicking here. Then you have the primary page like this. Next up is a tab check. In a tab check, you can generate an action from the operator, and that will give you more insight on the process of the production of a product or an audit. So the benefit of this check system is that you can really generate an action from the operator. For example, let's say that you want to give them a choice, an okay, not okay, then this will be shown. Or you want them to fill in yes, no. Single choice is you can give certain choices to the operator that they need to choose from. Multiple choice is also possible. You can have numbers, sliders, and so on. All these type of checks are in the Azumuta guides, which are in the description below in the video. For example, let's say we take the okay, not okay, go to preview, and this is how the step will be shown. Of course, the remark here is that the input from the operator is not saved because in the freely consumable board construction module, we do not save the input from the operator. If you have the quality management module, then all input that the operator gives from the checks are saved in a report for each audit or each product. The next step is rules. Based on the operator input, you also can have certain rules. The rule engine in Azumuta was designed to ensure that what the operator sees on the screen is as specific as possible for a certain product. For example, it can be ensured that the operator is shown a specific set of instruction steps based on the responses that the operator gives to certain checks throughout the process. So for example, let's say you have a rule, if the answer is okay, then they need to jump to a different step or fill in a note. This is a ticket coming from the continuous improvement module or other things. I will not explain this in detail because this will be part of a different video. Within the rules, you can configure the step completely as you wish and have an action concerning the operator input on this step. So this was the last step. Let's go back. So now we have configured our first step completely. If you want to add more steps, you can simply click here. So now you have your second step and you can start configuring, as I explained to you, the different tabs. Above, you can also see variants, recordings, skill matrix, and trainings. The recordings are not part of this module. The skill matrix and trainings are also not part of this module. I will quickly explain how variants work. So how do variants work? To give an example, I will populate some different steps. Now I have added 2 steps, and if you go to variants, it is possible to have one instruction and have different variants. So what is a variant? A work instruction can be used as a basis for the production of a certain article, but it can be that this work instruction changes very slightly according to an option or a variant of this product. So this way you don't need to have a separate instruction for all variants. But you can have one instruction and then assign the steps to the variant. So let me explain. Here, for example, your variant is white, so you have a white washing machine, for example, and also a black washing machine. It's two variants, and automatically all steps are checked. But let's say for the white, we do not want to see the step painted black. So let's, for example, for the white one, you will see this step. For the black one, you will see this step. So now you have one instruction, but you can really categorize here for which variant, which steps needs to be shown. So now you have one instruction for the assembly of the washing machine, but you have different variants. This will be very beneficial if you have the quality management module, because then you can make products completely based on the variants, show the operator the specific steps that are needed to make a specific variant of a product. But for this module, the freely consultable procedures, this is less important. So I go back to the step. And now let me explain to you what the revision history is in Azumuta. In Azumuta, a work instruction can be changed quickly and easily. And when changes are made to a work instruction, the current version of the work instruction is automatically saved as a draft. And this draft version can be converted to a new official version via approve. And then with this button, the revision history, you can spot differences between different versions. For example, here, let's say this is our first version, so we approve this work instruction. This is not applicable for this module, but let's say it does not require training, we approve. So now we have our first version. But let's say we now want to change something. Let's say we want to add a different step. Then you see that you need to approve a new version, because only the last approved version will be shown to the operator. Let's say we approve this version, again, doesn't require training. And now we can see we have already two versions. And with the comparison tool, so you can choose a version, choose two versions, and then check what is different. For example, the difference between version 1 and version 2 is that in version 2 we have added a step 5 here. In Azumuta, an instruction consists of instruction steps, but you can also have blocks that contain steps. So immediately your first block is assembly, automatically from the name of the work instruction. You can add more blocks. For example, here you can add instruction block and add more steps. Important to know here is with the instruction blocks that when the operator opens an instruction, always the symbols, equipments, or parts of the steps beneath this block will be shown here. So they have a complete overview of what they need per block. When you have configured your instruction, you can start with adding more instructions. For example, let's say within the washing machine you want a different instruction. You can say packaging, for example. Second instruction, and then you can again start with populating this instruction. This way you can have a complete overview of your work instructions within this module. Good luck with creating work instructions in Azumuta.